people. Thank you for watching my video. My name is Roel. I'm a health and nutrition coach and a diabetes practitioner, and I make these videos to inspire you to take control of your health. I love talking about anything health related, and I have a feeling that a lot of people don't quite realise how much their own behaviour is impacting on their health. In fact, it's the biggest factor when it comes to your health. So today, I want to talk a little bit about flexibility in your approach to becoming more healthy. So most people at this time of year are thinking about the new year, and maybe that's coming up for you as well. You think 2025, that's going to be my year. I'm going to finally stick to the gym. I'm going to cut out sugar. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get healthier. Does that sound familiar? If it does, you're not alone. That's what a lot of people do. But here's the thing. If you've tried the same approach year after year and it hasn't worked, why would it work this time? So that's why today I want to talk about why being flexible with your health goals can be the key to actually see progress. So stick with me, because this might be the mindset shift that you need to finally be sustainably successful. So let's start with a question. How many of us fall into the trap of doing that same thing over and over again, expecting different results? That's the definition of insanity, isn't it? And we've all been there. I've been there too. But the truth is, when it comes to health, being rigid with your goals or strategies can actually set you up to fail. And think about it. If joining a gym in January has never worked for you in the past, why would it magically work this time? Instead of doubling down on what hasn't worked before, it's time to get flexible and try something new. So let's talk about, how do you know when it's time to switch something up? Because obviously sometimes you need to try something for a little while to see if it works for you. And it's good to think about a few signs to look out for to know when you need to switch things up. So here are a few of these signs. For example, you've tried the same thing, a goal or a habit, loads of times, multiple times, and you had no success. For example, joining the gym in January and then find out by February, March that you're not going back. So like I said, it's good to try it a few times, but there comes a point where you sort of know that that's not your thing. Number two, if you feel dread or resistance towards the goal, when you think about what you want to do to become healthier and you already feel a little bit of resistance, then it's probably not the right thing for you. It's not sustainable if you try to force yourself to do something that you hate doing. So don't even go there. There are so many different things that you can do. You really don't have to force yourself to do stuff that you hate doing. Another thing to look out for is plateauing. So you're not seeing any results. Maybe you had some results, but then you're plateauing. Nothing is happening. That can be very frustrating, but it is normally a sign that your approach needs a bit of tweaking. Another sign to look out for could be your life circumstances, because as your life circumstances change, whether you get older, which we all do, whether you change jobs, or maybe you have kids or grandchildren, or maybe you retire, what worked for you before may not work for you now. And what worked for you when you were 30 may not work for you now you're 50. So your body, your schedule, your priorities, your values, they may all be different. So you need to take that into account. I'm just looking at myself in the screen and I see everything's green. It's just not planned. If you've been watching my videos before, you're well aware that I'm not a professional YouTuber, vlogger, or photographer, and I'm just realizing I'm sitting in a green jump in front of a green wall and a bit of a giraffe neck behind me. I do apologize. I hope you can see through that. So a few signs to look out for and ask yourself, should I switch things up a little bit? So how do we avoid that January gym membership trap type thing, and how can we approach our goals more flexibly? I've got a few tips. Number one, start not by dwelling on what doesn't work, but start on assessing what's worked in the past. Think back, and if there ever was a time where you were successful with your health goals and you did achieve something that you wanted to achieve, go back there and ask yourself, what made me successful when I did that thing? And maybe you were doing it together with somebody, and you remember that actually, if you have that accountability with somebody else, then you're more likely to be successful. So just look in what I call your personal toolbox. That's your experience, that's your personal toolbox, and pick the tools that you can reuse again for your current health goals. Tip number 2 is to make your goals fit around your life, not the other way around. Look, if you're working full-time and you're busy, maybe you need to take care of a family, or you're just trying to keep up with life, setting an unrealistic goal like work out for an hour every day is a recipe for disaster. Instead, ask yourself, what can I realistically commit to? And then you're more likely to do it, of course, and that's how you create consistency. And that even if it's a 10-minute stretch in the morning, or swapping an unhealthy food for a healthy food, all these things will make a difference. And it will even make a bigger difference because you're actually doing them, opposed to the unrealistic shit you set yourself to do, which you won't do. Tip number 3 is don't be afraid to pivot. Actually, I don't really like that word. It sounds so business-like, pivoting, but it just means changing direction, basically. If something isn't working, you are allowed to change it. Don't feel that you fail when you change something. It doesn't mean that you fail. You've learned something, and now you're going to change it for good reason. It's not a weakness. Flexibility is a strength. So let's say you set yourself a goal to walk a certain amount of time every day, or a certain amount of steps, but the weather is terrible. Instead of feeling bad about not going out for a walk, just change direction. Do something else. Try an indoor workout. Go on YouTube, or do some housework, or do some stretching instead, or meal planning. The key is to keep moving and not let the fact that you couldn't do what you set out to do stop you from doing something altogether. So important to keep looking forward and not dwell on what doesn't work. And tip number 4 is the most important one, and I'll bang on about it the whole time. Check in with yourself regularly. I do that once a week. Once a week, ask yourself, what's working? How was my week? What did I do well? What didn't go well? And what can I do to adjust my actionable little goals this week to make it work? And that little self-assessment once a week, which doesn't need to take longer than 5 minutes, can really help you to stay on track without feeling stuck in a plan that just isn't serving you. And that's the most important thing. So remember, health is not about perfection. It's about doing the best you can. It's about progress, and that can be small progress. Being flexible with your approach doesn't mean that you're giving up or that you failed. It means that you're adapting to what works best for you, and that's the most important thing, because that's what's going to lead to your long-term success. Right, so you've got your homework, which is your homework every week, to take 5 minutes and ask yourself what's worked for you in the past, how am I doing, what needs tweaking, and start brainstorming a flexible plan that fits in your life and that fits in with your preferences and your beliefs and your culture. And if you've got any questions, please let me know. You can contact me via the website or post the questions below this video. And if you would like a little bit more guidance, I'm regularly doing free webinars. My next one is next Wednesday, the 11th of December, 8 o'clock UK time in the evening, 8 p.m. And this one is about effective health goal setting. So it can be really helpful. It's quite a practical webinar, more like a workshop, where we go through the whole process of finding out what your goals are, how to set them effectively, and how to stick with them as well. So if you think you find that useful, then there is a link below this video where you can register for this 1 hour webinar. Don't forget to set yourself a little actionable goal for this week. What is the one little thing that you're going to work on this week to improve your health? And if you do that every week, then gradually you'll become this very smug, super healthy person. And thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions on topics for webinars or videos, I'm always open to hear them. And my contact details are, like I said, on the website. Have a wonderful week, and maybe I'll see you next Wednesday in the webinar. Lots of love. Bye.